People think prices are just set. A company decides what something should cost. A store prints a tag, and that's the number. It feels intentional, fixed, almost arbitrary. You walk into a store and the price is already there. It doesn't change when you ask questions. It doesn't adjust based on your opinion. That stability feels deliberate. So here's the thing. Prices aren't declarations. They're outcomes. What you see on a price tag is the visible result of invisible pressures pushing against each other, and those pressures never stop moving. On the surface, pricing seems simple. The logic appears straightforward. Cost plus markup. A company calculates expenses, adds a margin, prints the tag, and that seems to be the end of the story. Businesses need to survive. They need profit in order to continue operating. So they choose a number that appears sustainable. If customers accept it, the price holds. But when resistance builds, the price adjusts. From the outside, that looks like control. It looks like companies set prices. And technically, they do. They choose the final number that appears. But that visible choice sits inside limits. Consider two coffee shops across the street from each other. Both pay rent. Both buy beans. Both hire staff. Neither can charge any number they want. If one doubles its price overnight while the other stays steady, customers drift. Control exists, but it exists inside constraint. To understand where prices actually land, begin with cost. At the base of the system are inputs, materials, labor, transportation, rent, insurance, energy, technology. Those inputs create a floor. If price falls below that floor for too long, the business disappears. But cost alone doesn't decide the number. Competition pushes from above. If 10 companies sell something similar, customers can switch easily. That pulls the ceiling down. If alternatives are limited, the ceiling rises. Then there's demand. Not just how many people want something, but how sensitive they are to change. Some products can rise in price without losing buyers. Fuel during a commute, medication, essential groceries. Others cannot. Luxury accessories, optional upgrades, impulse purchases. That sensitivity constantly tests where the number settles. A price lands where floor and ceiling compress against each other, not where someone feels it should be. And that distinction matters. Effort does not determine price. A handmade item may take hours to produce. If no one is willing to pay for those hours, the price cannot rise to match the effort. At the same time, something that requires very little effort can command a high price if demand is strong and alternatives are scarce. Price reflects structure, not intention, not fairness. Structure. Once a price settles, the system does not freeze. The underlying pressures keep moving. Costs move. Competition shifts. Demand fluctuates. Expectations matter. If people expect prices to rise, increases are absorbed more easily. If they expect stability, resistance builds faster. Time reshapes everything. Inventory cycles delay reactions. A retailer may sell old stock purchased months earlier at a lower cost. Long-term contracts slow adjustments. A supplier locked into a fixed agreement cannot immediately pass along higher expenses. Supply disruptions ripple outward. A delayed shipment, a closed factory, a spike in fuel. Currency shifts influence imported goods. Energy volatility touches nearly every production line. Consider a sudden jump in oil prices. Crude rises on global markets. Refineries do not instantly adjust output. Fuel already in transit was purchased at earlier prices. Stations may wait to see whether the spike holds. Distributors update contracts. Transportation costs begin to climb. Only then do pump prices fully reflect the change. And when oil falls again, the reverse process unfolds more slowly. Inventory clears. Contracts expire. Competitors test lower prices. That delay is not random. It is structural. That's why prices often rise quickly when costs increase, and fall more slowly when costs decrease. The floor can move immediately. The ceiling adjusts through competition over time. In airline markets, prices can change hourly. In regulated utilities, they may hold steady for years. The structure determines the speed. Before asking who sets a price, it helps to understand why we react to it. Price feels personal. When something rises, it can feel deliberate, as if someone made a deliberate choice. When something falls, it can feel generous, as if someone chose to give something back. But most prices are not expressions. They are responses. Responses to cost shifts, responses to competition, responses to demand pressure, responses to expectation. We tend to interpret prices through intention. The system produces them through pressure. So who actually sets the price? Technically, a company chooses the number, but that number only works if it fits inside surrounding pressures. If it's too low, the company loses money. If it's too high, customers leave. If competitors undercut it, pressure builds. If demand surges, the number may adjust upward. If supply expands, it may drift down. What looks like a decision is often a negotiation with reality. A price tag is not a declaration of fairness. It's not a statement about effort. It's not a moral judgment. It's a balancing point, a point where cost, competition, demand, expectations, and time intersect. That is why price often feels personal. When a number rises, it can feel like someone decided to take more. But most of the time, what changed was the pressure beneath the surface. Rent increased, fuel costs climbed, demand surged, supply tightened, or expectations shifted quietly in the background. The system does not weigh effort. It does not measure fairness. It measures pressure. Once you see that, the idea that prices are simply set starts to feel incomplete. Because what you're really seeing is the surface of a moving structure, a structure that negotiates constantly, even when the number looks still. So here's the thing. Prices aren't chosen in isolation. They emerge from pressure. And when the pressures move, the prices move with them.